Hi, how's it going? We're called Muse.
And you're watching Attention Music Fresh.
I think musically, we've always been interested in like when tension builds up to a point where something has to collapse or something has to break. You know, like this moment of tension building and then breaking into something. I think that musically that's something we've always been doing.
Transmissions will resume. Now try to push, try to keep us all down and hope that we will never see the truth around.
The book 1984, the love story between Winston and Julia is kind of quite a central theme on the album. It sort of appears in quite a few songs, and it's kind of like a dramatic. But also being in England in the last sort of 7 years with all the various things that have been taking place which seem to be against the public. There seems to be like a kind of, in England, a kind of collision, not a collision, but a sort of difference taking place between the state, like the government, the police and the military, and the general public. There seems to be like a difference, you know, whether it be the two wars in the Middle East with America, the economic crisis, the MP scandal about all the expenses, all these, you know, there's a kind of like a mild kind of Big Brother situation in England where there's cameras everywhere and there's like policemen which are undercover, which are like infiltrating protesting groups and like taking pictures of everyone, and it's a little bit strange, the situation, you know. The album is kind of like a love story with this kind of backdrop of a kind of mild sort of Big Brother sort of 1984 style backdrop, and it's kind of drawing a comparison between the literature, you know, the 1984 version, which is very extreme, and the sort of you know, the fact that England is kind of gradually going in this direction, you know. So Resistance is just the general public feeling like there is no democracy and they have no say over anything, and they're being constantly, there's constantly like a feeling like the state is suspicious about you, you know, which makes people feel a bit paranoid and a bit uncomfortable, you know. It seems like England has been very close to this moment, but hasn't quite gone. You know, hasn't quite gone to that level where people are willing to really start, you know, really making a change, physically making an effort to make a change, because it seems that whenever protests take place in the world now, it seems like the police are so organised. You know, the riot police, the military, they just squash protests. You know, protests which start to be very peaceful. I mean, like, it's not like in the 1960s, you know, whatever. So there'd be protests, you know, but it seemed to be more peaceful, you know. But now, when you see a protest, the police seem to aggravate the situation on purpose to make a confrontation, you know. So I'd say that the situation has been worse in the past, and it's been better in the past. You know, but it's just one of those things. You know, it's always, you know, whenever the general public feel like they are not really being listened to or not being cared about, you know, and especially, you know, with England we have like a, you know, everybody is not happy with the MPs, you know, like the scandal and the fact that we have a prime minister who is not elected, you know. It's just weird. I mean, basically do what you want. I mean, I think any person can do what they want. I mean, I think you know, we're not really that involved in any of these things. You know, I think we're more like distant observers. Do you know what I mean? Commenting on it, you know, especially because we're not really living in I'm not really living in England much, so when I'm outside of England I see it through through a distorted version of the newspapers or through the news, you know, so I'm seeing like a slightly distorted version of reality, so I'm sort of singing about this. But I think it's a duty, well, it's not duty, but if you want to, it's good to express your own feelings in your music, you know, your own views. I don't think there's any, I'm not sure if we are, there's not like a manifesto, do you know what I mean, or anything like that. It's just expressing how we feel, but we are not saying that this is what people must do, you know, it's just saying this is what we feel.
It's all about your self-expression, but it probably really ties into the general feeling of a lot of people in England and also many people around the world, you know. It's not it's by no means any kind of like a preaching kind of thing. It's just like a general feeling that is probably felt by many people.